Hydraulic fracturing, fracking, by Clivia Sears, Colorado Christian University. Hydraulic fracturing, also known as fracking, is a process where water and other materials are injected into a well at high pressure to fracture the rock formation, releasing oil or natural gas stored in small pockets. Improvements in hydraulic fracturing techniques have allowed for the extraction from shale formations of oil and natural gas resources previously thought to be unrecoverable. Vangerik, 2011. In some states, as we see Colorado, voters passed a 5-year ban on new oil and gas development. The ban was overturned and also upheld at the county level. In Denton, Texas, voters also passed a ballot to ban hydraulic fracturing within city limits, making it the first major Texas city to do so, which ignited a public policy debate. In our local city, our city council is concerned about the potential environmental impacts of oil and gas operations just outside the city limits near an affluent residential area. As city attorney for a mid-sized homo city in Texas, regardless of how I personally feel, the Texas legislature's decision to allow fracking is by no means harmful to the industry and the people within. Every year, approximately 13,000 new wells are drilled, and at least 1.5 million Americans have lived within a mile of a fracking. While our country has enjoyed the surge in domestic energy production, it has led to wells being developed closer to homes and in some cases within city limits. According to our 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, hydraulic fracturing reduces America's dependence on foreign oil and is used as a strategy to increase economic growth and reduce economic weakness. There have been conflicts with city home rules and the state rules. However, with an increase in fracking litigation, our hope is to understand the dynamics of more jobs created, faster growth, and lower trade deficit. The question remains, is fracking a state issue or a local issue? And who is responsible? The legislature consists of both House of Representatives and the Senate. State regulations are the ones with the expertise, knowledge, and experience to make the technical decisions related to oil and gas drilling. Fitzgerald, 2015. The state has a level of control when it comes to this growing case. The locals are not usually experts in engineers, geologists, and necessary technical expertise. Section 81.0871 of the Legislature of Texas states, oil and gas operation is defined as an activity associated with the exploration, development, production, processing, and transportation of oil and gas, including drilling, hydraulic fracture stimulation, completion, maintenance, reworking, recompletion, disposal, plugging, abandonment, secondary and tertiary recovery techniques, and remediation activities. The Texas District has one judge per court. The legislature establishes the geographical area served by each court. Each county must be served by at least one district court. Although the legislature are the determined factor of this case, communication line needs to be open to engage the public with this matter. Information needs to be accurate, addressing questions regarding their actions developing oil and gas resources. Public education and citizen involvement are the top priority. The judicial branch ruling made in state Supreme Court are normally necessary. However, when questions are raised regarding consistency with the U.S. Constitution, matters may be appealed directly to the United States. Home rule cities enjoy certain advantages over other cities. Home rule arrangements vary from state to state and are always changing. Its intent is to allow citizens to decide for themselves the form of local government that they desire and the scope of its powers. Reynolds, 2016. A few years ago, within a short period of time, there were lawsuits brought by private citizens complaining about the effects of contamination caused by fracking. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, will be conducting studies that focuses on the potential impacts of fracking in natural gas wells on drinking water resources. Many states are temporarily banning hydraulic fracturing. However, unlike Pennsylvania wanting to regulate fracking operations, the courts overturned those efforts as expected by the Pennsylvania Oil and Gas Act. This is where the Dillon's rule comes in. John Forrest Dillon was the Chief Justice of the Iowa Supreme Court approximately 121 years ago. Dillon rule is used in interpreting law when there is a question of whether or not a local government has a certain power. He is quoted as saying that those best fitted by their intelligence, business experience, capacity, and moral character usually do not hold local office, and that the conduct of the municipal affairs was generally unwise and extravagant. Wirt, 1989. The Environmental Protection Agency concluded that the injection of fracking fluids into coalbed methane wells poses no threat to underground water sources. However, there are new studies that would include all chemicals that were reported in our lawsuits, including hydraulic fracturing practices for petroleum-based oil and gas production. Nearly 35,000 jobs have been created under EPA over the past couple of years in oil and gas extraction alone. This is definitely a gain for America. Although there are controversial environmental concerns due to fracking, as city attorney, my best course of action would include allowing fracking of oil and gas to develop in order to increase growth, create jobs, and lower trade deficit. However, courts may have difficulty determining the municipality powers because of the power home rule cities actually have. In reality, the EPA should conduct their own investigation and research on the accused contamination cases. But let's leave it up to the legislators. Here are the references and the end of my PowerPoint presentation. Thank you.